morning. Today's training is about creating a speech on the short notice. As Toastmasters, we have learned tremendously about how to prepare diligently and practice to perfection. But in many occasions, we have to give speech on a short notice, maybe a few hours or a few minutes. Imagine yourself have to step in to give a toast on a wedding ceremony, or the night before your Toastmaster speech, you realize you haven't prepared. Sounds familiar? Today's training is not to provide a shortcut to diligent preparation and great speeches, but rather highlight a few tips that can be useful when you're in a time crunch. To stretch yourself in a short period of time, let's consider a 3P framework: purpose, practice, and polish. First of all, purpose. In a time crunch, you need to quickly narrow down the purpose and focus squarely on it. Are you going to entertain, inform, or inspire? What is the single most important key point you want to make? What are stories and material you want to use to support that? Where's the time crunch? We suggest you first write down your purpose in one sentence. Then you craft your key points and supporting points on a piece of paper. As you write, you need to be diligently focusing, restricting the material that are directly related to supporting the key point, because time is precious. You don't have the time to reiterate a lot. And also use stories and personal experience to illustrate. A well-illustrated point is much more stronger and much more memorable than ones that are just explained but not as illustrated. You also need an attention-grabbing opening and a strong closing to really echo on the purpose and key point. Remember Winston Churchill's advice: if you have an important point to make, don't be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit it once, come back and hit it twice, and then come back and hit it third time. A tremendous whack. In a time crunch like this, you will really need a strong opening, body, and closing to do the whack, all focused on the purpose. Practice. One of the biggest mistakes in a crunch speech is that the speaker is often very nervous and spends all the time writing the speech and leaves the delivery to chances. Indeed, one should really have the discipline to set aside time to practice, even just a few minutes. And here are a few tips. Practice ideas, not words. A memorized speech is dangerous. Once you lose your position, you're in trouble. And by the way, most people cannot memorize word by word a speech in just a few hours. Also, you want to be spontaneous. You want to react to what someone else has said earlier in a meeting. Maybe it's the wedding vows that the couples have said. And if you add examples to support your key points, that will also make it easier to memorize, to remember the speech. Make sure to practice your speech out loud, even if it's just a few minutes, because you need to be comfortable with yourself, with your vocals, with the experience of delivering the speech. And when you really give a speech, state each point clearly and then sit down. Don't ramble. Don't apologize for the lack of preparation or nervousness. Chances are nobody will notice. The third part is polish. Fine-tune your speech with vocal variety, gestures, and pacing. This might be the hardest part because you often feel you're running out of time. However, you can plan it out proactively. Reach into your experience and plan out like a plot. For example, When you change from being excited to sad, you might want to change your vocal variety quite a bit, or add some dramatic gestures. In a speech, when you have sufficient time, those can come to you naturally and slowly. But in a time crunch, you really need to be purposeful and proactively jot down some notes and plan it out correctly. So if you only have a few hours or minutes, focus hard on your purpose, your single most point you want to make. Create a strong opening, a strong ending to echo on the purpose. Practice conveying ideas, not word by word memorizing. Polish with gesture and vocal varieties, proactive, even just mentally. These are the key ingredients to make you shine. Just because you have a limited time to prepare your speech, a few hours or a few minutes, doesn't mean you cannot make your message appealing, that you cannot have an impact on your audience. Of course, it will be nicer and more comfortable if you have abundant time to prepare speech. But sometimes things happen, and you will have to just swing with the wind and tackle with purpose, practice, and polish. Thank you.